Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this was a paid request from DavieVids. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, tier lists, reviews, re-reviews, commentaries, reactions, video game let's tries, or full playthroughs. Comment, whatever the case may be, topic. PayPal is usually the best bet. Or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And DavieVids, one of the requests he sent was for me to do a tier list of every Nicolas Cage movie. Now I did look at this and I did add a couple things. I added, okay, I didn't put that on there. I added an F tier and I added don't remember and haven't seen, because some of these films I have not seen, or I've seen them but I don't remember much about them. And those would be the easier ones to do at first. Because Nick Cage, I do like Nicolas Cage as an actor. He's done quite a few films I enjoy. Con Air being my favorite. But he's done a lot of direct-to-video films. And some of them have been pretty interesting, like Mandy, among others. Willy's Wonderland. Others, I just never bothered to see. So, now look at this. I haven't seen as much Nicolas Cage films as maybe some people thought I would, but we'll do what we can with this. So let's go into this and go into the don't remember or haven't seen quality category. That'd be easier to do. Matchstick Men. I don't think I've seen Matchstick Men. Or I saw it once. I don't even remember if I've seen that film. If I saw it, I don't remember a thing about it, but I don't remember ever seeing the movie, so I don't put in the haven't seen category. Same with Valley Girl. I don't even... Time to Kill. Never even heard of that one. And... Never on Tuesday I've never seen. Zondali I've never seen. Honeymoon in Vegas I haven't seen. Let's see... Red Rock West. I'm getting that confused with Wild at Heart. I might have seen one of these, but the others I don't remember. So I'll put those two, because I can't remember which one I had seen. Seeking Justice I haven't seen. It Could Happen to You I barely remember. I don't think I've seen Stolen. I don't... One of those direct-to-video films I saw, I don't think it was that. Or Outcast. Frozen Ground. I know I haven't seen Leaving Las Vegas. I know it's a very beloved movie. Rage. I know one of these I saw and I don't remember. See, that's the thing. See, Dino Light and see The Runner. I'd never even heard of. Let's go through this. Rage, I don't think I've seen. If I did, I don't remember. It'd be one or the other. The Trust. Lord of War, I barely remember. USS Indianapolis, I didn't see. Dottie Dot, I didn't see. Army of One. Captain Corelli's Mandolin. Arsenal, my god. Vengeance. What the hell that one's called? Inconceivable. Dark. There's a lot more films I've never heard of. Racing the Moon. Running with the Devil. Kill Chain. What the hell? Boy in Blue. Grand what? Grand Isle. Never saw Primal. Never saw Jiu-Jitsu. A Score to Settle. Between Worlds. Man, he did do a lot of direct-to-video films. Oh my god. The Humanity Bureau. My god. Birdie, I never did see that. Looking Glass. I don't think I actually did... I never did see Moonstruck. I know of it. Never actually did see adaptation. So sorry, man. I'm like going through a lot of your stuff. I'm like, I haven't seen most of this. I think Peggy Sue got married. I might have seen that, but I don't remember much about it. So I don't put it there. I don't go with that so far. And it's best to go with the worst first. So of these films, and obviously this is not going to be every Nicolas Cage film, but of these films, the ones that are the worst I've seen, that would definitely give an F2. It would be films that I don't think have any redeemable quality to them. So I would go, if I go step by step, Left Behind. Put that up there. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. This will be easier. I'll do this. This is actually an easier way of doing it. I'm going to put this way. I just flip them up. So that's actually easier for that. So what goes in F? Left Behind is definitely an F quality movie. It's definitely an F quality film. It's very cheap. Most of it takes place on a plane. I'm surprised it's not an asylum film with how cheap the production values are. The special effects look like a sci-fi channel. The rest of the cast, they might as well go back to soap operas and stuff. I remember that just being a very low quality picture. The Wicker Man definitely deserves the F quality. I mean, at times it's funny. Not the bees, not the bees, punching people in the face, but they should have gone forward with that. But then, like, they have an uninteresting mystery. They have this depressing ending, which is ridiculous with all the goofy stuff in the movie. I'm not even big on the original Wicker Man, but I can say it's better made than the remake. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the Wicker Man. I don't think, unless you're laughing at it. Trespass. I think Joel Schumacher had a hand in that. It's one of the worst ones he did. One of the most forgettable. If it's not Joel Schumacher, I apologize, but that's definitely one that I felt nothing for. So those are definitely F quality. So let's move you back up to where you belong. And what is a D quality movie? Definitely Bangkok Dangerous. I mean, I'm a sucker for action. It's very hard. Well, I guess it's not very hard, but if it's something I'm really, really looking forward to and just completely drop the ball, then it's easy for it to be an F quality. But if it's one that I had no interest in, action's my favorite genre. So at least maybe there's something in there, stunt wise, something superficial, explosions. But now that about Bangkok Dangerous, I don't remember much about it. I should put it in the don't remember quality, but I remember being fairly subpar. I remember that feeling coming into my brain cells watching it. I mean, if your studio is so pussified that it has to take the gun out of it, so it's like he's doing this, and there's supposed to be a gun, but he's just like, well, he's doing gang signs. Yeah, and that's a remake of a film from overseas, and just remember that being a very lousy subpar movie. Season of the Witch, that's another example of that. And I see Nicolas Cage worked with Ron Perlman. That's the only positive I can say about it. The rest of it, very uninteresting. Don't want to get mad at me for this. I'm not a fan of Vampire's Kiss. I think the story is incredibly stupid, and it's a guy who thinks he's been by a vampire, but apparently he never was. He was just that crazy and goofy. There's some nice supporting actors. Maria Conchita Alonso, I believe, is in it. It's nice to see her in there. There's a curiosity 80s dictation. There are some funny moments, like goofy moments. I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire. But I just really did not care for where the story went. I didn't think it was as funny as people made it out to be. Not for me. Not for me at all. So. And honestly, if I'm looking at this. Anything else I could go with the D? Sut the D. Which one is this one? Okay, is the first Ghost Rider on here? Oh, okay, yeah, it's right there. You know what? Spirit of Vengeance, Sally, goes on the D quality. That's a film that should have been a lot better. Should have been a lot better. Yeah, the guys that directed Crank and Crank 2. You involved Christopher Lambert in the film, and the action was not as exciting as you think it is. The story is just very boring. Nick Cage, I actually thought he handled the character fairly well in the first Ghost Rider. The second one, they made him unleash, and that was a mistake. Because they should have held him back at least a little bit. And it just did not work for me at all. So I'll put that on the D quality. And damn, people don't get mad at me for this. I'm not a fan of Rumblefish much at all. I thought it was a very overrated film, but I'm not a big Francis Ford Coppola guy. In fact, I'd rather watch Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance and Vampire's Kiss. In fact, I'd rather watch any of these over Rumblefish again, because that one I just find very, very boring. It's just on F because I do like some of the performance of Matt Dillon among some of the actors, but yeah, story-wise, I think I reviewed the film and I went into why I don't like the movie. See, a lot of times I watch so many movies, a lot of them kind of leave my brain as soon as I review them, and then I'm like, I don't remember what I said. Just remember not being that interested in the film. I definitely don't mind The Outsiders. The Outsiders is a decent film. Rumblefish, not so much. Now, C quality. It's probably going to get even more controversial, but or whatever. With the way I reviewed it, I should be putting this in the D quality, but there's a reason why I'm putting this in the C quality. The action scenes can be fairly well done in that movie. In terms of the spectacle and the explosions and some of the violence. But I think it's a bit overlong. I think the story just not that intriguing to me. It's about Wind Talkers, but it's more about Nicolas Cage than the actual Wind Talker himself. I don't think the two have the best chemistry with each other. And all purposes, I should be a bit lower on the list, but compared to some of these other films, I can at least say the action scenes are worth a watch at the very least. Right, some people say, oh, do you want to see... But there was definitely some budget behind it during the action. You definitely see that John Woo had some money to play with. I'll still take the action and Hard Target and Broken Arrow and Hard Boiled and stuff, but there is some good action sequences. Just the rest of it wasn't for me. Firebirds, just kind of a lame version of Top Gun. If Top Gun had helicopters, I think Nicolas Cage was a bit miscast at this time. I don't think at this point he could do this kind of role. Maybe a few years later in the realm of Con Air and The Rock, sure, but in this realm, I just think he was a bit over his head. I don't think he was ready for it yet. I think he had no chemistry with Sean Yun. It's cool to see Tommy Lee Jones in there. There's some cool helicopter bits, but the action scenes are nowhere near as palpable as not just Top Gun, but I mean, you compare it to Blue Thunder. Hell, you compare it to some episodes of Airwolf. There's more insane helicopter action, but I've seen much worse. I give this film a lot of crap. Face Off. It's not my favorite John Woo film. That's why I say sometimes I'm like, I don't hate it, sometimes I do, but if I'm being honest at the end of the day, John Travolta has some decent moments, although I've seen him do much better. There's some good action sequences. The airport hangar scene near the beginning of the movie, when Nicolas Cage is in that penthouse with Gina Gershon and others, and the cops come in and they're fighting back and forth. There's some really solid stunt work, like Nicolas Cage's character going up the stairs, and you have this big, massive explosion behind the character. The store, especially the store at the very end of the film when the end credits start, has a nice emotional ring to it. But I do think the film is way overlong. I don't think there's as much action as there could have been. Nicolas Cage overacts so much, he was more of a detriment than anything. And I don't know, the pairing of John Travolta and Nicolas Cage was just not that exciting of a prospect for me. For this kind of bit where they're playing each other's roles and one's going to try to have to mimic the other one. I mean, again, Arnold and Sly, I think would have been more exciting. Van Damme and Steven Seagal would have been more exciting. Of course, they didn't want to do that. So take that for what you will. But is it the worst John Woo film? Far from it. Is it the worst action film? Far from it. But I do think it's John Woo's most overrated film. I do. I'd rather watch it than Mission Impossible 2. I'd rather watch it than... I always forget that one he did. In like the 2017. I always forget what it was called. That's how good it was. But I don't love it like other people do. Let's see. Looking through this. I'm gonna go with Pig. I know it seems like it should be lower. I appreciate what he was trying to do. I appreciate what Nicolas Cage's performance. But man, it's a fairly boring movie that feels pointless at the end of the day. I remember watching that film and going, what the hell was the point of this movie? I'm sure there's supposed to be some deeper meaning, and I was a bit more vitriolic when I reviewed it because I'm thinking, I don't get where this praise is at. Nicolas Cage is fine, but I thought he was better in films like Joe and other stuff, but it just, I don't know. I didn't think it was as great as people made it out to be. I thought it was a very slow, boring film. Again, I'm sure some days I would give like D or lower, but I would give it C, like fair. It's not a god awful made movie, production value wise or acting wise. It's just not really for me. Gone 60 Seconds is a pretty mediocre flick. You think, man, there's like all these cars you gotta steal. You think there'd be a lot more action, but there's not. I mean, it has that Bruckheimer feel to it, so there's some charm with the way it's shot and the few bits of car sequences in there. It's nice to see people like Delroy Lindo and Robert Duvall in the supporting cast. I feel like that film could have been a lot more. these ones, the Weatherman and World Trade Center, I barely remember them being okay. Being alright. But I wouldn't say I love them or anything. And Deadfall, that movie is hilarious for the wrong reasons. And I would say Nick Cage's performance is mesmerizing in a bad way in that. Sally overshoots Michael Biehn and other people in the movie. I mean, I should have did that lower, but I'm just thinking of like Nicolas Cage's performance. It's worth the watch, but you could just go on YouTube and watch those moments on there. Again, in all good conscience, I'm sure another day I would give this like D and lower, but for entertainment value, Nicolas Cage's performance is just mesmerizing. And they go by like the Weatherman. I remember being kind of forgettable. World Trade Center. It's Oliver Stone, but it's one of those Oliver Stone films that you forget that he made. So because of that type of director, I think of JFK, Platoon, Any Given Sunday. This one, I think his heart was in the right place, but it just didn't really. Again, no one really talks about that film, and I don't think it's a bad film. It's just there really wasn't much I could think of that really stuck out for me with that movie, at least to me. And so we got. Let's lower these down. That way, it'll be a lot easier to go through this. S, A, and B. What are the tops for me? Con Air is my absolute favorite. That's definitely S tier for me. So much fun. So much entertaining escapism. Fantastic cast. John Malkovich as Cyrus the Virus. John Cusack. Steve Buscemi. Dave Chappelle. Absolutely adore the score. The guitar work. Such a satisfying, fun action experience, Con Air. Really like Cameron Poe. I'm here to save the fucking day. John Cusack, I know he hates the film, but I actually think it's one of his better roles, more likable roles. Has a good sense of humor. Is that your car? And the car crashes. There's some CG, but there's some good practical effects in there. Like there's CG, but they do use a lot of practical when like the plane crashes in Vegas. And again, there are CG elements, but it's not wall to wall. So yeah, Con Air is definitely up there for me. Same with The Rock. The Rock, yeah, one of Michael Bay's best. To me, that's Sean Connery as James Bond, and I watch it nowadays. I'm like, the way they talk about his backstory, it does seem a lot like James Bond. So, and just great element of cast and action and an interesting idea to have it take place in Alcatraz. Ed Harris as a villain, but he's not too much of a villain. But I thought it was actually handled the right way with Ed Harris's character, where they built up like his soldiers suffering and why he's doing it, and with the way Ed Harris played the character, I could buy that he was a conflicted. A lot of times, so many people try to do those type of characters nowadays. Oh, brother, of course, because we can't have just an evil person. They gotta be a conflicted person. But Ed Harris, they did that very well. Has another great score. Excellent action sequences. This was Michael Bay after Bad Boys, and now he's got a bigger budget. Now he's got a bigger star like Sean Connery, so it felt like he even had more to prove. And this was in his wheelhouse. This is what Michael Bay's best at. I don't think Nicolas Cage had a good time making the film. I don't think he got along the best with Sean Connery, from what I understood. But I thought they both did a great job with the film. Nice to see William Forsythe in there. At least he said his name right. Sorry, I was silent because I'm looking at what else would be S tier for me. Honestly, these two films I would put there, Mandy and Willy's Wonderland. I know I'm hyping them up too much, but and Nicolas Cage's director video career, obviously I haven't seen a lot of them, but there are ones I've seen that really stick out, and that's more than I could say for Sylvester Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme. And what I mean by that is in the past 10 years. Yes, if I go further back, Van Damme had Weight of Death, and Van Damme had, JCVD, etc. But I'm talking about the past 10 years, Nicolas Cage. He's done a lot of direct-to-video films, but at least some of them have shined brightly. And both Mandy and Willy... Mandy, I think, is a beautiful-looking film. It's hypnotic. It's beautiful visual look to the movie. And it's a very interesting visually how to take a revenge movie into a different direction to give you a much more unique feel and experience. And like the way the game looks like they just came from hell, and the color scheme used, very vibrant and moody. I really was impressed by Mandy. Directed by this George P. Cosmatos, who directed his son, I should say, his son. Just George P. Cosmatos helped direct Leviathan. Directed, but some say not really, Tombstone and Cobra. His son is a director, and his son directed this, which I thought was really cool. And Willy's Wonderland, I just thought was fun. Granted, technically it should not be S because there are flaws. The shaky cam, for example. But it's one of those things that a film can have flaws, but if it gives me enough of that experience that I just had such a good time, especially in this day and age, I'm willing to overlook flaws because the more important aspect was it gave me the entertainment I wanted. I really like Nicolas Cage in that movie. I like that he has no dialogue. That was such an interesting idea. Risky, because you get this big star, but he doesn't talk. And he's like Oscar. I think he won an Oscar, didn't he, for Leaving Las Vegas? Or at least nominated. But you don't give him dialogue and just all the little the looks of the animatronics, the song they gave at the end. Willy's Wonderland. So much better than Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So much better. Again, to do without the shaky cam. I wish the fight scenes were a bit longer, but it has such a good time with that. So definitely that. Gonna put that on there. Now since Grindhouse, I'm not a fan of the trailer he did, where it's the werewolf. SS and Rob Zombie would direct it. It was that trailer. I'm not a fan of that trailer, but I love the Grindhouse movie. I'm at least going to put that in A. I'll say that. If it's the trailer, I hate that trailer. All the other trailers, even Machete trailer I liked, which I thought was a lot better than the movie Machete. But I don't like Nicolas, so I'll make a compromise. I'll put it A. It's not S because of that trailer, but I can't put it lower because it's Grindhouse. I had such a wonderful experience. I saw that in the theater. It's like, here's the fake well, you have the real trailers, then you have the fake trailers, then you have the one movie, then you have the fake trailer, then you have the other movie. There's a lengthy experience, but it was a very fun experience. And sadly, it's a gimmick that did not work, and it bombed, and then they never did it again, which is too bad. A 8mm Absolutely enjoy that. I don't want to put everything on S tier and stuff, so I do like to separate. Like, I know those four are the tops of the tops for me, but ones that are close, and I can't even tell you why it's not higher. It's just gut feeling. But 8 millimeter is very solid film. I think maybe I wish it was a little bit of a harder edge, or a little bit more violent, gory. But yeah, I love the story, the setup. This old woman has this 8 millimeter footage. Apparently, it's a snuff film. Calls in this investigator to see the validity of this, whether it's true or not, is it real or not. He investigates. He gets the help of people like Joaquin Phoenix, and goes into the dark, seedy underbelly. I do wish it was a bit more of a punchier, more violent movie, but I thought Nicolas Cage did a great job. It showed that Joel Schumacher is not just Batman and Robin. He can do, before he could do stuff, The Lost Boys and Falling Down, and afterward he could do it with 8 millimeter. Definitely one of Joel Schumacher's better movies. Bring Out the Dead, underrated Martin Scorsese film. Another great cast, not only Nick Cage, but Ving Rhames, John Goodman, Tom Sizemore, and just the perils of being an ambulance driver, and all the crazy patients they get, and the topsy-turvy, and this guy can't sleep, and he's going to the midnight hour, day after day after day, and just how his mind's being more and more fractured while this is happening. Probably the most underrated Martin Scorsese film. But yeah, Bring Out the Dead is a very solid affair. Underrated. Raising Arizona is a fun one by the Coen brothers. Nick Cage and Holly Hunter work very well together. I see people like John Goodman in there. I think it's William Forsythe. I could be wrong, but I thought it was. Definitely some quirky, entertaining comedy. The Big Lebowski is still my favorite of the Coen brothers, but this is probably my second favorite of their work. Randall Tex Cobb is entertaining as the biker, so definitely put that in there. A quality. I do quite like the first National Treasure movie. The second one's okay. In fact, I'll put that. The second one's okay, but the first one, it may be ridiculous, but I liked all the. It might be completely unrealistic, sure, but you find the secret code and it goes over here, and then we gotta steal the Declaration of Independence, and there's a code in there, and it may be a bunch of kerfluffle that makes no sense, but it was entertaining bit of business. Where's the code next, and the secret code here, and the secret here, and that stuff just intrigues me in a movie sense. If it's a scholarly lecture, not sure, but in a this type of entertainment where you got action scenes and you have some likable characters in there, it makes for a fun time. That exposition, but that adventure Indiana Jones type of quality. So I do remember liking National Treasure. The second one was okay. I remember it being alright. But I do remember liking the first one more. Let's see. Knowing, I remember not minding. It definitely has a crazy ending. Won't spoil it, but it's definitely an ending I didn't see coming. And before that, there's some interesting ideas, some competent acting. Like the ending, I don't usually like those type of endings, but it, it was just interesting to me, and I don't know. Somebody, oh okay. I don't want to give too much away, but by the end, definitely was not what I expected. Bad Lieutenant, well acted movie. There's some things that are a bit like wishy-washy. I think could have been more tightly edited. Sometimes it seems like the story kind of wanders around and could have been more tightly focused. Val Kilmer at times seems like his character disappears, and I wish he was more prominent in the film. And his back and forth Nicolas Cage was much more prominent, but there does definitely some interesting things in there that I definitely like. Some people liked it, some people absolutely hate it. And I definitely don't hate it, but definitely some things that I do like about the film. Kick-Ass, believe it or not, I mean, I used to hate this movie. I used to despise this movie, and I don't like the lead character that much. I get that he's inefficient, he's new, but he gets his ass kicked a lot, which is the purpose. I know that's the absolute purpose, but more so, he gets Nicolas Cage's character killed, which pisses me off. But it has enough action and style. The combo of Nicolas Cage and the Chloe Grace Moretz as Hit Girl, the usage of music in that movie at times, the surprising violence at times, it's grown on me a bit, and I give credit where credit's due. I may not be gunno about the main character, but there's enough stuff surrounding it that I did give some merit and worth to it. Again, to be fair. Sorcerer's Apprentice, I actually remember not minding. I know a lot of people hated this film, but I actually thought for a Disney movie, I I don't know, just if just a lot of magic battles between Nick Cage, who's this eccentric guy. I didn't mind the younger guy, Jay Baruchel. I'm not giving it a high rating because I haven't seen it in forever, so my opinion may change on it. But I remember having fun with the movie. I thought it was harmless. I thought it had a lot of action. I thought there was some cool magical tricks. Granted, a lot of it's CGI, but I just meant like the ideas. I thought there was some nice creativity in it, and it didn't bother me as much as other people. Amos and Andrew, remember that being okay, but like, it's been a while since I've seen it. Guarding Tess, I actually remember having a bit of fun when he's got to protect the was the I think the former first lady, and there's some nice banter between the two. Kiss of Death, I'm actually don't put that in the A category. That was pretty damn solid. Like David Caruso, I do like as an actor. I don't know, I just liked his presence. I liked his cadence and his voice. It's one of the reasons why I love CSI Miami. It might be campy for people, but something about that really. Maybe it's like how some people like William Shatner, which I do too, and almost in a way I like it. He has a certain way he talks. Same with Dave Caruso. I just like that. And yeah, Samuel Jackson and Michael Rappaport, Helen Hunt in an early role. Yeah, that one I remember quite enjoying. You know what? Screw it. Ghost Rider, I'm going to put in the A category. I like that movie. Yes, Ghost Rider kills the villains too quickly. You wish there was a bit more of a battle and a struggle. But I like Nick Cage in it. I even like Ava Mendes, and I like the look of Ghost Rider. I like some of the action scenes in it. I don't hate it as much as other people do. I like seeing Sam Elliott in there. Maybe because I never read the comic. Maybe because I'm also compared to films today. And I'm sure back in the, if this was like 10 years before, man, yeah, it'd put it B. But I'm like, compared to a lot of Marvel films today, it's actually pretty damn entertaining. I mean, I put it like between A and B if I could. That doesn't exist. Fuck it, I'll put it A for now. Why not? Sea of Angels, I remember being okay. Not Minding Nick Cage and Meg Ryan. That song was everywhere. Iris, Goo Goo Dolls. I don't want the whole world to see me. I don't think they'd understand. Next, I remember being alright as an action film. I like the idea of being able to see a certain way in the future, but I'll put it on the lower end, like a B minus or something, because there's still more that could have been done with that. Definitely more that could have been done with that idea. Pay the Ghost, I actually remember not minding. I'll put that there. And I remember not minding Pay the Ghost. Remember that being okay. There's some iffy CG at times in the third act, but I didn't mind the idea. Like, he's with his kid at Halloween, he's holding his kid, then his kid's like taken and he's in the middle of a crowd. He's trying to find him. His kid, even though it's the middle of a crowd, has been taken during Halloween season, and they're trying to figure out what happened next. And then there's this mystery of him trying to find out what happened to his kid, and you find out there's this other realm dimension where these all other kids have been taken, and he's got to enter there. And granted, when he does, it's very cheap looking fog, and I like the idea of going to this vast open space and there's like a cabin far away and these kids have been, and then Nick Cage has to rescue the kids. It's a film that you wish had a bigger budget to finite some of the look of the film, but I remember just not minding the movie. Color Space, I reviewed that. Definitely has some interesting trippy visuals and some decent special effect gore scenes that reminds me of The Thing. Mom and Dad, I know some of my friends hate this film. I had some fun with it. What if the parents get crazy murderers and want to try to get rid of the kids? So the kids have to battle the parents who are now crazy and violent. They could have done more with the idea and maybe see a bit more of a scope with it, but I do remember not minding the flick for what it was. The Family Man was okay. Definitely sappy Christmas family fluff, but didn't mind it. Snake Eyes, that's one I would like to revisit again. I do remember liking that as a Brian De Palma movie. The trailer gives the entire movie away. That's the issue. Don't watch the trailer. It gives the entire mystery away. But I remember it had some really good camera work where it's trying to make it all look like it's one shot. You got Gary Sinise in the film. You got Stan Shaw, who's in Daylight among others. I believe that's his name. He's in it. All taking place in this boxing arena. Someone gets shot. And Nick Cage, who's an unscrupulous guy, he's done a lot of criminal activities, but then it's like, is he going to sell his soul or not? I do remember quite liking that movie. Joe, decent film, some nice performances in there. Drive Angry, it's been a while since I've seen this film. So the same director did the My Bloody Valentine remake, and the same writer. They both did that film, then they did Drive Angry. I think Amber Heard is in it. So I don't know how I feel about her watching it again, but I remember being entertained. I remember though wanting more. But I mean, I definitely tried to sell the 3D. You got Tom Atkins in it, which is cool. It's a guy who's killed and he escapes hell because I think his granddaughter, I think his daughter's killed and his granddaughter is in danger. I think that's what it was. And then William Fichtner comes out of hell to try to get Nicolas Cage, but Nicolas Cage is trying to get revenge on these, were they bikers or something? It's been forever since I've seen it, but I remember not minding the film. And Trapped in Paradise, a goofy Christmas movie. These three crooks, Nick Cage, Dana Carvey, and John Lovitz, they're trapped in the small town. They've stolen from them. And then, like, the town is so nice to them, they start feeling more and more guilty. And they're trying to escape this place with the money. But, of course, as the Christmas season keeps going, and they see how kind these people are, then they start affecting their thoughts on how they feel about this group of people. So let's put this up here. It's not my list. Well, of course it's not your list. It's not going to be your list. It's my list. Alright. Just want to get this. That and that. So my favorite Nick Cage films: Con Air, The Rock, Mandy, and Willy's Wonderland. Ones I do quite enjoy: 8mm, Bring Out the Dead, Grindhouse, technically, National Treasure 1. I like the first Ghost Rider, Kiss of Death, Raising Arizona. B, these are films I think are pretty decent. I remember not minding. C, films that could go to D or F, but at the same time, they're not the worst things ever, if I'm being fair. When Talk is Firebirds, Face Off. D, like Rumblefish, I could not get into. Bangkok Dangerous, like, no. Ghost Rider 2, very disappointing. Left Behind, Wicker Man, Trespass are definitely three of his worst ones. And yeah, a lot that I'm sadly, I'm sure one of these I've seen, too. I don't know if it was Stolen, or if it was Seeking Justice. It was one of them. I don't remember anything about it. That's how good it was. But I don't know which one it is. So I don't know which one to put in. Don't remember. But he did, yeah. He owed a lot of money, so he did a lot of movies. The Humanity Bureau, and A Score to Settle, and Outcast, and Jiu-Jitsu. I got confused with each other. I thought they were the same movie. Vengeance. I mean, I would get that if he was Seeking Justice and The Trust. Or like Vengeance, Rage, and Seeking Justice. What's the difference between all three of them? The Runner? Never heard of these movies. Maybe for good reason. So, there you go. Take that for what you will. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. And thanks once again, DavieVids. I'll get to the other two as soon as I can. Yes, we're not all going to agree on tier lists. That's why we all have different opinions. Just how it goes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.